Sistas season 1, episode 8. First thing first, let me know y'all thoughts on today's new episode, if y'all seen it or not, because I don't know if y'all seen it yet. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know if y'all seen it yet, but I said let me do this review before I go to the store to get some cough medicine. But yeah, look, what's this question? What's this, the mid-season finale? Because at first they were saying how it was only going to be 8 episodes, but I seen somebody say this only the mid-season finale. But okay, I said they wait to get to the good part at the end. I don't know where to start at this point, because look, I don't know if I want to start with Myron, because I think he did that on purpose. I think it was clear that he did that on purpose. Well, it wasn't clear. It's just my assumption that he did that on purpose. Because he kept asking if the first lady was upset. What the first lady say? Was she upset or whatever? I said he heard them say it was cameras. That's why he went there. I said they wasn't upset enough for me. I don't understand. Like, I get it because Rashida, I keep about to say her name, Geneva. I said she right because he definitely was going to try to flip the script just like that lady or whatever. We still don't know the truth about that lady. But yeah, I'm hoping they not stick with this storyline specifically or whatever, but how do I say it? The dynamic is between Jeff and Rashida now. Or how he's listening to her finally or whatever. I hope they stick with this, but I doubt it. But yeah, like I said, on today's episode, first of all, we're going to talk about Naomi and Rashida. She ends up cutting ties with Naomi, and she told them basically they need to do the same. I said, exactly, when you get tired, you're going to let it go. Rashida just told her, hurt people, and that's why she doing everything that she doing. She just kept on and kept on. I was like, see? I said, excuse me. I said, your hurt gonna cost you some good people. They sticking beside you after you did what you did and you still haven't learned. Let me give a quick summary before we dive into it. I said, well, look like William not the daddy, y'all. Anika ends up getting hurt. I think they said she got hurt on a swing. And the doctor comes out. She tried to get Geneva to come to the side. She tried her best to get this lady to come to the side, but she being hard-headed. No, I'm not going nowhere, whatever. I said, you deserve whatever coming to you, girl. Because she tried to pull you to the side. William wanted answers. He was asking questions and stuff, saying why can't he, give blood to his daughter and stuff like that? Because at first he was like, he's gonna do it. She was like, no, basically they blood types don't match. He's like, if our blood tags don't match or whatever, he's putting 2 and 2 together. And she just sitting up there looking foolish, like she didn't just tell Rashida a couple of weeks ago or 3 that she didn't know who the daddy was. She over there sitting like, she just standing there like she didn't know. Then Javon over there acting like he's sticking around for a reason. That's why he mentioned that. He made that comment about having a daughter. He made a comment about, what did he say? It's like Anika would be a daughter to him or some type of way he said it. I was like, William, this man playing in your face. This man is playing in your face. At first I thought William knew. I thought he knew. Maybe he do know. But at the same time, I'd say maybe he was unsure. But yeah, I was thinking that he know. Because ain't no way. He over here trying to move next to y'all. He did tell Tiffany on this episode that he wants the house or whatever to put the offer in. Somebody said he's supposed to be in rent though. I don't know, y'all. He trying to move too close. He want to be attached at the doggone hip. Everywhere you and your wife go, he trying to follow and stuff. I'm like, I said, William, if you don't know, you finna know now. It's finna be clear as day now. I said, it's gonna be clear as day now. But yeah, do y'all think down the line they gonna do a switcheroo and say he's not actually the daddy that Javon did something? I don't know. Either way it goes, Tiffany and William need to wake up. I said, he doing too much. He want to be too attached to the hip. Why you want to be everywhere they go? That don't make no sense. Hold on. Like I said, let's backtrack. Let's go back to the house or whatever. I said Rashida did what I think everybody should do. Go to the source. So they standing around talking. She was telling her how she done with her and stuff like that. She done with Naomi. So she was like, okay. So she ends up calling them in. And she tells Naomi to play it. So she plays it or whatever. He on the phone and stuff like that. But he never said, he told my son, he know that Jeff in love with him too. I said, just because he said that don't make it true or whatever. So Jeff came in. He made it clear to them that he's not gay. He's not in the closet. He's only into one woman, and that's Rashida or whatever. Excuse me. He's only into Rashida. And I said, exactly. As of right now, he into Rashida. Like, we don't know what storyline they gonna go with. Right now, they seem like they on the same page, finally or whatever. Even though we only in the first season, but it's still. But yeah, so Naomi's still standing there. She asked a question. She started questioning Myron or whatever, asking how long he been sleeping with Jeff or whatever. And he's like, no, or whatever. And they was asking him who he's on the phone with. And my thing about the whole situation, he kept asking how the first lady felt after that whole situation. He was like, was she upset? He asked Bridget. He ended up asking Jeff. I was like, he did that on purpose. I could be wrong, but it looked like he did that on purpose, y'all. But yeah, he was just denying it. Said no, 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 or whatever. Even how he said no, he let you know he telling a story. He was like, no, he not in love with him and stuff like that. Jeff makes it clear to him that it's not gonna happen, and they're gonna talk about this later or whatever. And he tells them he finna take his wife home, and they could take Myra home. He like, I'll get a car or whatever. And they still was questioning him, and he studied denying it. I said, you playing in their face. And Bridget told him that. She was like, they understand and stuff like that, but you can't be lying and playing in their face. I said, exactly. Don't nobody like you when you playing in their face. Well, some people don't anyways. So, who we got next? Jeff and Rashida in the car and stuff. Rashida just kept making jokes about Myron being into him and stuff like that. She was saying how she told him 3 years ago, and I was like, I like that too. I like that she seems to have tell him everything. She seems to have told him everything. I don't think she told about the lady at the church though. She tried to tell him that women be doing it or whatever, but I don't think she specifically told about that incident. But yeah, I was like, I like that. I said I like the dynamic they got going on as of right now. Hopefully they don't change it, but y'all know they change stuff just because, drama and mess pulls in views. So we'll see. But yeah, they was just in the car or whatever, and they was talking about everything that happened. She was like, you really that naive? You really that naive or whatever? Look, I ain't even referred to my notes. Hold on, let me go back. Rashida tells Naomi she knows she hurting, but this a whole new level of low. Naomi asks why she's mad about that. Tiffany says all over town that Myron and Jeff is close. Rashida went got Jeff and Myron, tells Naomi to play the video. Naomi asks how long Jeff and Myron been sleeping together. That's when he denies it. Both of them denies it. Rashida asks how long Myron been in love with excuse me. Rashida asks how long Myron been in love with Jeff. And he's like, no. He's like, no, whatever. I like, you gonna sit up here and tell them folks they ain't hearing what they heard. You seen the video. Even if you didn't see the video, you heard what said. You heard what said. You know what you said or whatever. But Jeff lets it be known he not in the closet, he not gay or whatever, like I said. Rashida tells Naomi that she's done with her, and that's when they leave. Right after they leave, she gets served. Naomi gets served with papers. I can't believe I forgot that part because I was like, karma. I said, karma. She ends up getting served. Geneva reads it or whatever. It's about her burning Lindsay or whatever. So instead of, I'm going to skip ahead. Instead of being like, you know what, I'm going to settle down. I'm going to stop this crazy stuff. This fool goes to the hospital, bring this girl some black flowers. She just still sitting in the same spot. I said, y'all ain't raised her? Well, I guess they can't because her back messed up or whatever. But she just laying there or whatever. She done brought some flowers. She started talking to Franklin. He trying to get her to leave. And he realized that she trying to get him to put her hands on him. Excuse me. He realized that she trying to get him to lay hands on her or whatever. So he started telling her to leave or whatever. He calling for help. So the lady comes in, the good she did, she just gave her an idea. She was like, you can't touch her and stuff like that. It'll get infected and all this other stuff. She done threw the doggone flowers on the girl back. I said, you going to double jail. I said, you going to double jail. I said, you just trying to attempt to murder her a second time. But yeah, then there wasn't enough either. She went and got Hakeem, showed him the $1 million. I said, big mistake. Then you brought up his daughter. You said you did your research, so you should know who he is. Like, I don't know who he is, but I'm just assuming he crazy or something. I don't know. They both seem a little touched, but ain't that what they say? A little touched. Hold on. But yeah, she don't show him. He's like, you got to give me something. I was like, hey, I mean, I understand because you telling him to commit murder. What you thought this was? Like, what the world? Somebody said no. He wanted, I think at first he said 10,000 or whatever, but he wanted a percentage of it or something to do the job. She told me, I said, no, you ain't gonna get it. You gotta do the job first. Who gonna do the girl? You crazy? And then he's like, what's stopping me from hitting you over the head and taking the money? And she was like, she knew who he was or whatever. She mentions his daughter, how old his daughter just turned and stuff like that. I said, you playing a dangerous game, crazy lady. So he just started looking at her and he ends up walking out. I said, he gonna either rob her or go tell Franklin and try to get some more money. Well, not some more money, but because she ain't gave nothing yet, trying to get this man to commit murder, you won't even pay him. What the world going on? I said, you going to jail a triple time. Matter of fact, you going to jail for burning her the first time. You going to jail for trying to murder her again by infecting the little burn mark or whatever. Then you over here trying to murder Matter of fact, she trying to murder Franklin and Lindsay. I was like, Naomi crazy. They gonna have to, she going too far now. I was like, they gonna have to cut ties with her for real. But my guess is down the line, they all gonna forgive her and get back cool. But so far, Rashida's the only one that walked out on her, y'all. Um, let's see what else. Uh, Oh, this was when they was in the car. Rashida and Jeff was in the car. Rashida tells Jeff that he naive. He's like, really? He's like, he's shocked to see it or whatever, to hear it or whatever. She like, I told you 3 years ago. I've been telling you from the jump, the way he looks at you and everything. And I said, exactly. I said, we saw that. We saw that from the, well, not everybody. Some people thought that he was messing around with that lady in the church or whatever. He might be. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Because just because they said they ain't cheating and stuff like that, don't mean they're telling the truth, but we'll see. But yeah, she just started joking about Myron and Jeff and him wanting him. But she was like, she told him 3 years ago, but he don't listen. Apparently, he don't listen at all because she also been saying about the women in the church who trying to, sue him for harassment and all this other stuff, but he not paying attention. Maybe now he'll actually listen to his wife. But yeah, he wanted to fire Myron. And Rashida was like, no, you got to be careful about this because, it's a bad idea. He could sue you. He could make up all type of stuff. And I was like, she's smart. I said she's smart because that definitely can happen. That definitely can happen. What else? Hold on. Does anybody know they son name? I feel like I figured it out before, but I lost it. I know Hakeem is the dude that Naomi trying to hire. What's the son name, y'all? But either way it go, Rashida pulls out a cup. She wants to give their son a urine test. She was saying how he's on substances or whatever. Excuse me. And Jeff was like, you sure you think so or whatever? And she was like, you gotta go make him do it or whatever. You gotta cuss him out. And he was like, you really want me to cuss him out? And she's like, yeah, you gotta cuss him out or whatever. Hold on. And based on that scene, I was like, he gotta do something. He gotta intervene some type of way because this boy don't sit up here and grab Rashida arms and stuff. I think that he reminded her of what happened to her when she was in college. Or maybe it wasn't that. I'm assuming that he reminded her of what happened to her in college when he grabbed her arm and stuff like that. Somebody said, don't make me hurt you. I think she was reminded of what happened to her. But I could be mistaken. She could just be in shock that her son done did something like that. I guess we might as well talk about him as well and then go back. She gets home or whatever. She sees her son in that room or whatever. He looking for something. He's talking about, what he say he was looking for? I forgot what he said he was looking for. So she sees the money. She grabs it out of his hand. She asks what he doing. He ends up saying, he needs that money because he going out with his friends and all this other stuff. He tried to take it from her. He tried to take the money from her. And I think before that, I don't know if it was before that or what, but she was telling him how she want him to do a drug. Shoot. Was I supposed to say that word? I can't even remember. They got so many doggone rules. Too little, too late now. I don't know. I'm going to say it. I already said it now, but I'm going to just say substances, y'all. They got too many rules now. I done slipped up. And said it. Oh, well. But, yeah, she told him she want him to take the urine test. She want him to take the test or whatever. And he was like, no, he not taking nothing. All this other stuff. Try to take the money out of her hand, grab her wrist and stuff like that. Somebody said, don't make me hurt you. And then the daughter just looking at stuff like that. And he leaves. I said, don't let him leave. Mess him up. I said, mess him up, girl. But yeah, she was in shock. I don't know if she was in shock because once again, what happened to her in college, or she was in shock because her son just grabbed her and threatened her, or what. I said, you better run like it ain't nothing because Jeff about to handle you, sir. He about to handle you now. But yeah, excuse me. Let's see. We got a backtrack. I said Rashida Smart. This one I said she want their son to do a urine test. Bridget was in the car talking to Tiffany about everything that happened. She was saying how she sees the way Myron looks at Jeff. And apparently they've been talking about this, gossiping about it, that, Jeff and Myron got something going on and stuff like that. But Bridget denies that Jeff is into Myron. They were just talking about that. She over here just putting on makeup and stuff like that. I said she getting ready for Javon. But they end up making it to the church or whatever. That's when Bridget sees, wait, I skipped the part. Bridget ends up saying that Naomi's getting worse and she's not going to get no better. I said, exactly. Myron at the church crying and stuff. I said, what you crying for? You did it. And you did it on purpose. I'm convinced he did it on purpose. I could be wrong. But I think he heard, obviously he heard it because he was standing right there when they said it was cameras. I said, yeah, I think he did that on purpose. I think he trying to come in between Rashida and Jeff or whatever, but we'll see. He over here crying. So Bridget checks on him and everything. He told me, I'm gonna be fired. I know I am. Was the first lady upset? I said, he said that about 2 or 3 times. Is she upset? I said, that was his intent, to upset her. That's why he mentioned the fact that they came in holding hands, trying to make me jealous and all. I said, he a crazy person. I said, he one of them crazy people. You gotta watch him. And I also said when he came to the I'm not gonna skip ahead again because I'm been on forgot. Let me just go and get through this, then I'm gonna tell y'all if I don't forget. Excuse me. But let's see where I stop at. Like I said, he was crying. She was questioning him about what's going on, asking if he's in love with Jeff. No, I'm in love with my wife. I want my wife. You liar. We heard you. We heard you. What the world? He want to know people too. They sit up here. They know you know the truth, and they still want to sit up here and lie and stuff. What time is it? Let me see. 6:19. Okay. Yeah, he over here still lying and still talking about some. No, I wasn't talking about Jeff. I was on the phone with my friend. I said he done changed his story too many times already. Myra ends up asking was Rashida mad, and I said he know what he doing. That's when I wrote that down. Javon ends up calling Tiffany, says he want the house or whatever. He wants her to put the offer in. Then he was like he wants to take her on the trip. So immediately I'm like it's gonna be some trip to let Geneva know that he trying to get to her. This fool talking about some he want her to go to Italy with him, William, and Geneva. She's like, I don't know about that. So I'm like, okay, she's starting to figure out something not right here. She's starting to figure something not right here. But after her conversation with Rashida, I was like, she ain't figured out nothing. After her conversation, I said, what's going on? And Geneva making it obvious once again. William over here acting like he don't know what's what. I said I didn't know where to start with this episode review because it's all over the place. Everybody got something going on. William over here being gullible. Tiffany being gullible as well. At first she telling him no about the trip and stuff like that. She gotta watch Anika. He's like, can Rashida watch her and stuff like that, and just trying to get her to change her mind. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna call Geneva and talk to her about it. He's like, no, don't do that. And she was like, why not? And he started telling her not to call Geneva. He was like, okay, I'm gonna call William. She's like, I'm still gonna call Geneva. He's like, no, I need to call William, smooth things out and stuff like that. And she's like, okay. I said, you fool. You fool. Hold on. I was like, yeah, he didn't want her to be warned. He didn't want her to be warned. He want William to run about it. He knew exactly what he doing. He knew exactly what he doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. They end up showing Naomi. She stopped by the hospital. She brings some black flowers, and we already basically talked about her crazy stuff. Franklin ends up realizing that Naomi wants him to put his hands on her or whatever. The nurse came in and made it worse. Excuse me. Somebody some you can't touch her burns or whatever because she could get infected and die and all this other stuff. She gonna throw the flowers on her. I said that's double attempted murder. That's triple attempted murder, girl. I said these two, but I think they made for each other. Both of them crazy. They don't back down, stuff like that. He also told her that she'll never have him again and all this other stuff. But they always say that. They always say this type of stuff. Let me see. Tiffany, excuse me. Tiffany ends up calling Rashida. She asked if she could watch Anika, tells her about the trip, and she was like, she wants you to do it, whatever. She want to say something so bad. She want to say something so bad, but she doesn't say anything. Rashida doesn't think it's a good idea for her to go to Italy. She's like, why not, or whatever. And she's like, I just don't think it's a good idea. And I was like, y'all just keep her in the dark. That makes it worse. Now, y'all whole friend group is like the group on Sistas at this point. I know people like to make comparisons about the show. I was like, y'all sister circle, they might be worse, actually. They friend group might be worse. Folks running around trying to commit murder and stuff. But then again, I don't know. Because Fatima be trying to commit murder as well. But yeah, I was like, they sister circle ain't worth for doing. I don't know yet. We just got to wait to see, y'all. Rashida was saying, I stopped there. Rashida was saying how she doesn't think it's a good idea to go to Italy. They end up showing Naomi with Hakeem. She ends up showing him the $1 million. And he was like, he wants some money. And she was like, no. He tried to reach for it, and she stops him. He's like, what's stopping me from hitting you over the head and just taking all of it? She started mentioning his daughter, saying she looked him up, know that he just got out of jail or he spent some time in jail. Just steady telling him. I was like, they be knowing this stuff about these folks. And they still antagonize them. I said, once again, she either going to get robbed or he going to go to Franklin. Or he going to try to play both of them and get money from both of them. But yeah, she mentions his daughter. He realized that she planned this from the jump, that it wasn't just about them sleeping together. She had this intent. She revealed that. So she found him based on his track record and stuff like that, and she using it so he could commit crimes for her. I said, she probably ain't gonna pay him regardless, but we'll see. He ends up leaving, and that's when I said, yeah, he gonna rob her or tell Franklin and get money from both of them. Jeff, hold on, let me see. I don't understand my handwriting, y'all. Myron comes into the office. He said he was going home. Bridget told him to go home, come back tomorrow because he was worried about his job. She's like, just come back tomorrow. This fool came in the office. He ends up talking to Jeff. Jeff asks who Myron was talking to on the phone. That's when he ends up saying it was a friend. It was somebody from the church. He was like, who is it? He wanted him to tell her. He's like, I don't want to get nobody fired. I said, you full of crap. But yeah, he said that the guy put it in his head that Jeff want him and everything. I said, he's lying. I said, I'm convinced he's lying. I could be wrong. But yeah, he was like, I didn't know how to tell you that I had feelings for you. I said, which is it? Because he was like, you not in love with him. Then you say you didn't know how to tell him about the feelings. Regardless, they heard you. They heard you. You can't deny. I mean, you can deny it, obviously, but that don't mean they're gonna believe you. I mean, Jeff might believe you because I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, he over here, I didn't know how to tell you. So he was like, he gonna give him a chance, and stuff like that. He was shocked by that. He was excited by that. What else? He asked again, was Rashida upset? Was the first lady okay? He's like, how did she feel? And he was just telling him that, she gonna need some time or whatever, and he better be prepared. He better be prepared or whatever. Excuse me. He better be prepared to, deal with her because she's not gonna be taking it easy on him and stuff like that. When he left out of there, I don't know, he seemed a little too excited for me. I said, you in trouble regardless, but he seemed excited. I said, yeah, he got something else up his sleeve. He said, I'm gonna make him, I'm gonna convince him. But yeah, Jeff told him that it'll never happen between them or whatever. He made sure to tell him that. And I said, they're going to have to watch him. I wrote that in parentheses, y'all. I said, they're going to have to watch him. I said, I don't think he done. I don't think he done at all. I think he got something else up his sleeve. And then the next thing I wrote down, I said, William Gullible. Because Geneva went in the kitchen. He's like, close your eyes. I got a surprise for you. I said, William, you got to be playing at this point. You have to be playing and just trying to let them know without letting them know that you know. He's talking about, I got a surprise for you. Close your eyes. This fool walk in the kitchen with Geneva. Why? He talking about he got a chef and it's Javon. He cooking and stuff like that. Talking about food gonna be ready soon and all this other stuff. Then he started talking about some, I want you to try. He told Geneva he wanted to try this meat or whatever. And she was like, no, whatever. William said, I can't even get it out. William said, I tried. I said, William, I don't think I said, William, I don't think he talking about that type of me. I don't think he meant it for you. I think he was trying to talk to Geneva and flirt with her. I said, I don't think he talking to you. He told me, I tried. So, hold on. Let me see what happened out there. I said, William Gubler, he got this man in here cooking. William tells Geneva about Javon trying to take Tiffany to Italy, talking about it's a good idea. I told him that you'll be okay with it. And I said, he playing at this point. William got to know, too. William got to know at this point. I said, William got to definitely know. Excuse me, hold on. So I think Javon, he was like, okay, he finna get ready to go. That's when you hear Anika, it's like a fall, a loud noise or whatever, and she fell. So they run outside or whatever, and I think William was the one who grabbed her. William had her, so they rushing and stuff like that. They end up taking her to the hospital and stuff. And then they said she was on the swing. If I'm not mistaken, they said she was on the swing. She fell. The lady that's supposed to be watching her was like, she's sorry. It happened fast. Excuse me. But yeah, I already talked about Rashida saying their son, he stole the money. Rashida asked if he's taking substances. He grabbed her arm and said, don't make me hurt you. And I said, boy, Jeff finna hurt you. But yeah, they showed the hospital scene. Excuse me. They end up showing the hospital scene or whatever. So William, Geneva sitting there, Javon sitting there, and it wasn't a problem until Tiffany walked through the door. Tiffany walks through the door, sits down or whatever, and Geneva's just looking. She asked what she's doing there. She was like, I think they said Javon's the one who called her. She asked if she called the girl. She was like, no, good. They don't need to be here. She tried to combine it or whatever, make it seem like she didn't want nobody but her and William to be there. So she's trying to get them to leave or whatever, and she just started going back and forth with Tiffany. Tiffany's like, why is it a problem that she's there? She concerned about Anika as well. And she started trying to get out of William. Like, William, he just over there. Because Tiffany started talking to him, saying, like, what is this? What's going on or whatever? Because she told her to leave. He over here acting clueless and stuff. I say he got to be playing along at this point. Because she doing too much. And it always happens when Javon around or Javon is with Tiffany. I was like, this is obvious. Y'all should be putting two and two together. If not then, at the end of this episode, let me see. The doctor comes out. She's like, Anika needs a blood transfusion. And William was like, he'll do it or whatever. And she was like, no. She mentioned that it needs to come from a parent. She started trying to pull Geneva to the side. Geneva was like, no, I'm not going nowhere. I said, you fool. You fool. I mean, regardless, it was going to come out. But at the same time, like, she tried to help you. She telling her, come on, or whatever. I need you to come. We need to talk or whatever. So the doctor was like, y'all blood types don't match. She said like that, but she basically did. Y'all blood types don't match. You can't give her blood and stuff like that. We ain't putting two and two together. She sitting up here looking like she shot Geneva is. And I thought they was going to cut to Javon's face, but they didn't. But I was like, yeah, girl, you in trouble now. You knew it was a possibility. Now, excuse me. You knew it was a possibility, but now you know it's a fact. He's not the daddy. Don't look like it anyways. But yeah, he can't give blood. And they don't want to sit up here and get to the good part at the end of the doggone episode. And they saying it's the mid-season finale, y'all. I said, you done got caught now. If you didn't know, now you know. What they said? If you don't know, now you know. Hold on. I said, if you didn't know, now you know. She don't sit up here. She tried to help her out. And I said, okay, Tiffany, here it is, girl. But I don't think Tiffany gonna back down for him. Y'all know how it go. If y'all be watching these shows and movies and stuff, they find out the truth and they be like, because you took so long to tell me, you ain't want to tell me, you rather act funny with me, I'm going to continue talking to him. Like that solves anything. Because all she got to do is say she want him back. And he going to go to her. But then he going to go to you. And he going to go back and forth. That's what they do. But yeah, that's it. That's all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces. Have a great rest of the day and be safe.